Hi, and welcome to my studio. This is Jim with Sketching with Jim. Today I thought I'd take a little trip down south to the Florida Panhandle and draw this truck for you. On our many trips down into that area, and when it's winter in Canada, we can travel down there and get a nice bit of respite from the winter and the snow. And on our way through Medark, Florida, which is near Crawfordville in the Panhandle, there's this area where somebody has collected trucks, old trucks, and it's been there for years and years, and many people visit it, and many people know it from that area. And every time we go down, we always stop, take photographs, and see how the trucks are doing and how the vines and the woods have grown into them. Sometimes I stop and sit a sketch for a while, but for some reason it's reassuring and comforting to stop there and just connect with these old fellows. There's a lot of life around them, and even in their retirement, so to speak. There's the little animals, the lizards that live in them, and of course the foliage that is creeping up on them all the time and keeping them safe and warm. And although they are rusted and not exactly useful to man, other than I shouldn't say that. They are useful in their way. They have their stories to be told and their thoughts, no matter how distant they seem. And drawing them, I try to imagine what they may have been used for in the day. This one was some kind of a transport truck with the large, not sure what you would call that, the large cage on the back for hauling different things. As usual, the proportions aren't as important to me as portraying the feeling of the trucks, the whole general idea of the trucks. So starting off with the one part of the truck and just kind of letting it grow from that, keeping the proportions as close as I can get. I could have taken the time to make a pencil sketch, do some measurements, but this gives me more of a spontaneous, sketchy feel, and something I'm going for in my drawings, something that's more immediate, without too much thought, just kind of letting the pen create the lines and the drawing create on its own. There are many different ways to approach this kind of a drawing. But sometimes I like to not be so precise, just let it create itself. Not be so rigid and controlled by rules and regulations of how things should be done. There's a place for that, of course. I agree, this is not totally let loose and abstract and as it could be. But for me, who in the past has done detailed drawings with precise measurements, there's a certain freedom to doing it like this. And even more freedom when you're not doing it from a photograph, when you're actually on site and drawing from life. Which is harder, but when it does come out, it's very satisfying. I don't usually start a sketch with a preconceived idea of what it's going to look like, especially something like this where there are so many leaves and organic things around the truck. Nothing definite, more of a haphazard mix of greens. So when I start to put the leaves in, just very loosely with wiggly lines, I just start and let it develop and see where it's going to go. And where it does become darker areas, I just do a little bit more squiggling. The squiggles a little closer together so they develop their own darkness. And as you can see, a little tighter squiggles will develop into dark areas and shadow areas. And not worrying about crossing lines either, so that you can develop the drawing in the way that you feel it, like with the leaves crossing over in and under the parts of the truck. And as you get a little bit further away from the truck, I tried to keep the lines not so tight. Tried to make them a little more airy. It also helps to keep the high contrast area, which is around the truck, your center of interest. Still making the leaves on the trees, but spacing them a little bit more further apart. A little bit of hatching to add the shadows, add some variety in the strokes as well. On the side of the truck, kind of hatching also gives the truck surface an older look. Instead of one smooth surface, you got the rust and the bits flaking off, and trying to establish where the shadows are, which way the light's coming from. Once you've established where the light is, then you can do the shadow on the opposite side. In this case, the light's coming from the left. And that nice shadow on the tire, on the wheel. You don't realize how important the shadows are until you put them in, really. Sometimes I wonder if I put too much hatching in, but I think this worked out okay in the end. There's always a line when you start to think, did I overwork this drawing, or should I have made it simpler? I see that bit of hatching I just put in at the top there. At the end, I cropped that out in the final picture because I didn't quite like how that just kind of stood out on its own, that line. And at this point, once the ink is in, it's too late if it's a dark line like that, because I didn't want to put any more hatching up in that area. I didn't want that a dark area, so you can't cover it up. But luckily, I put it on the edge of the drawing. You can always crop. And going over a few of the lines to make them a little stronger, make them stand out. Because after a while there are so many lines all over the drawing that your main subject kind of loses itself in the lines. And straight in with the burnt sienna and some red added to it. Here again, I'm trying not to cover every single little bit of the truck, just trying to leave some highlights so that it doesn't become too heavy with paint and just stagnant. This drawing actually did come close to being overworked. And the subject itself dictated the colors, really. Nice complementary reds and against the greens. So I think it worked out fairly well color-wise. I guess you could even be a little more. You could put a little bit more variety of types of greens in there as well to make it more interesting. As I go away from the truck, I add a little bit more blue to the greens. Try to get a feeling of distance, of 3 dimension. Hi, and welcome to my studio. This is Jim with Sketching with Jim. Today I thought I'd take a little trip down south to the Florida Panhandle and draw this truck for you. On our many trips, just coming back in with some darker colors to get the shadow areas. We're in Canada. We can travel down there and get a. And I think I left it for a little while. I looked at it for a bit, and then I decided that I do need some really strong darks on the shadow side of the truck. So I came back to it and added some nice darks. There's this line of, as I've said before, one problem I do have with painting is I'm a little hesitant of putting color and darks in, so I end up with a very flat painting. So I do need to come back in and get some nice contrast in the painting. And these are not paintings as such, a large finished painting. They're more of sketches, which I'm only taken at the most maybe half an hour doing. So I want to still keep that nice sketchy feel and not work for hours and hours on it. Anyway, thank you as usual for dropping by, and I'm glad I could share this drawing with you. And please come again, subscribe and like, and please send your comments.